So I'm Scott from South Florida Insider, and I'm here with.
Argyle Goldsby from Blitzkid.
You know what? Coming over here to Orlando, you've already had a couple of tour stops and stuff along the way, going with some pretty prominent bands and stuff. How's been the vibe so far on this tour?
It's great. It's been the third night out. House of Blues, always cool out here, and all the shows on this tour are going to be pretty big places, pretty nice venues. Everybody's getting along, as you can hear over there. We've all made friends with everyone so far, and just having a good time. You know.
How does it feel to have the support of a new album? I mean, it seems it's been a long time coming to finally get another album out there.
Yeah, the last album we had was in 2006, and we took some time off so we could get a good solid lineup in the band. And to finally have the album Apparitional out is a huge accomplishment for us, because we wanted to put a new album out years ago, so like the wait has been killing us, so it's nice to have it. This is perfect timing to go on this tour as well with the new album. So
I mean, that's a long time, 2006. Now,
yeah.
I mean, did you have to recycle a lot of songs? I mean, that's a long time period to go between albums.
Well, we've been playing new songs live. Like the last album we had was 2006, and it was called 5 Cellars Below. And we actually did an album called Anatomy of Reanimation, and it was re-recordings of a bunch of old songs. And we put that out just to tide everyone over, including ourselves, until we could put new songs out. But in that time frame, we were playing most of the songs that were on Apparitional already. So we're always constantly writing songs and testing them out at shows and live. And for us, we like to be in the studio. We like the creative process of actually like recording things. So that was hard. It was more hard for us to wait, I think, than everyone else.
Yeah, and that's got to be when you're finally not touring, because it seems like you guys are always on the road, whether in Europe, in the States, or wherever.
Yeah, we've been busy. We just got home from Europe 2 days before this tour started. We were over there for a month, and we flew home, had a day to recuperate. A little bit. You get used to it. It's worse for me with jet lag going to Europe than coming back, because, you're losing time technically going to Europe. You're losing 6 hours, and you're kind of gaining it coming back. That's a weird feeling, but it's not as bad. So the jet lag, as long as we're playing shows, I'm okay. When I have more than 2 days off, that's when it really sets in, because there's real no structured time on tour. Everything's just like either you're playing a show or you're driving, and everything else just kind of falls in between.
So that must give you a lot of downtime to continue writing already for the next album. Is there any? I know you got the horror genre and everything tied into it. Is there any books, movies, and stuff that you just got such a crazy vibe off of that may have contribute?
Yeah, I mean, I'm constantly writing songs. Like the songs that were on Apparitional, I had to pick out of a list of songs. I was like, which ones am I going to put on the album? And there's some stuff I've been reading lately. I've been reading a lot of Algernon Blackwood, great author. Yeah, he's really cool. There's this one story called The Willows, and I've been kicking around an idea, trying to do something thematically with that. So that's the most recent thing I've been working on.
So does that also mean holidays like Halloween's your favorite holiday then?
Yeah, I like Halloween. Halloween was always fun. I was always the kid who it was.
So you weren't doing the treating; you were trying to scare the shit out of people.
No, I just wanted the candy, man. I had no problem scaring the shit out of people anyway, on a daily basis. I was just that kid. I was the kid that just nobody really understood. You know what I mean? So I kind of played into it. But, I was into Halloween just because of the cool, costumes, and you go to, Kmart or something like that and see all the cool masks and whatnot. It's always fun. Because, there's no internet growing up for me, you know what I'm saying? So I had to, go to the store and see cool shit to get inspired. Halloween would come out, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool werewolf mask, or that's a cool vampire mask. And then I would go home and, draw it, because, before I was a musician, I was just into art, I tattoo for a living, when I'm not doing this, and, before that, I just wanted to be a comic book artist, when I was a kid. So I would always draw inspiration from Halloween.
So is there something, though, that kind of, sets the vibe? If you could pick a movie, I guess,
yeah.
if that's even possible, is there one that kind of exemplifies the band?
Well, I don't know for the band, per se, because, the band is a mixture of elements. Yeah, me as a whole, I think the one thing that really sealed it for me was our library at my elementary school had this cool book I could never get to because it was on top shelf. But it was called Masters of Horror, and it had these pictures on the cover of like I think it was like Dr. Cyclops, this old movie, and it had like all these characters in a jar. And I remember seeing Nosferatu, the 1922 Max Schreck movie, and just the picture of him standing up on the boat and his arms are all stiff. And when I saw that, it was like a picture that was worth 1,000 words. I saw it and I was like, this is cool. So for me, that embodied, I guess, my aspect of the band, this kind of like nostalgic, classic kind of vibe. You know what I mean? But kind of from the punk standpoint, we're a little more old school about it. That's one thing people come in all the time is they say we're like, oh, you guys are like an energetic band, like punk was in the old days. So I guess that's one movie I would.
But that's also got to be kind of humbling knowing that like you got really that kind of classic feel to you guys. Yeah, absolutely, man. We're on tour with Face to Face and Strung Out. For me, that's the most humbling experience I could possibly have. We started this band, in 1997, and the two bands that we're on tour with right now were primary inspirations that we derived, the idea for the band from. So. And there's got to be a little bit of the Misfits vibe in there as well, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely,
right?
Yeah. We've always been pretty like well-rounded with like our influences, but. The whole Halloween thing and the whole Misfits thing, we were suckers for melody. Like Strung Out, Face to Face, two very melodic bands, and so were the Misfits. They were just on a different spectrum of it, you know what I mean? But they had that whole element of Halloween and the whole like brooding kind of vibe to them, and I think we gravitated towards that primarily because of where we're from. We're from like small southwestern Virginia town, so if you drive around in a hearse or like you have a devil lock or something like that in our town, it was just unheard of.
Or watch out for a lynch mob.
Yeah, no, that's the truth, man. We've been chased out of many places for looking like the way we do, so to speak.
Oh,
back in the day, not so much anymore because things have changed just in the past 10 years, but when we started in 1997, things were kind of like on the cusp of going into technology and the world was just starting to get smaller, but where we were, it was just really just like sheltered from the rest of the world. And we had a hearse. That was our first band vehicle. We drive around in it, and it was fun. We were just like into punk rock and horror movies, and we were into melodic, like punk rock. And I think that's what set us apart. I think for the most part is we didn't just want to, just be a punk band that was like screaming about whatever. We actually wanted to sing. We were like we didn't know how to do it. We were like we're gonna learn. So.
And just like down the road and stuff, I know you got the album. You're obviously touring, going to be in Europe. And what else is going on? You guys got singles, podcasts, anything going on? Yeah, well, right now we're doing something with Bloody Disgusting. They're doing a lot of like giveaways for this tour, like tickets and things, in conjunction with the album being released. But as far as tours go, we're going back to Europe in August, and we're going to do Summer Breeze Festival, Endless Summer Festival. We were supposed to do the Reading Festival, but it was too close to get on that. It's just we couldn't squeeze on. Other than that, we're just gonna just forge ahead and just really plug this album. We have material for a new one. We just got to take our time. It's like I have to do that. You're still just getting the life out of the newer one. Yeah, that's a problem. Is like it's always been that way in Blitzkid. Is we'll put an album out. And by the time that album comes out, we'll be playing new songs that aren't even on that album. We had to like curb that. Like already, I'm ready to start playing new songs. So kind of just like pace myself. See how it goes. Nice. Well, I appreciate your time. Oh man, thank you very much for the interview. Thanks a lot, guys.